I can guarantee to you money back and everything that I make worse choices and potential significant others than you do.
If you thought crazy stuff only happened to me when my family was around, you'd be sorely mistaken. I've always been a magnet for crazy, especially during the school years.
As most of you know, I've been studying Japanese for a very long time, like since freshman year of high school. And, you know, I was like, what? I don't know, how old was I then? Like 13? Question mark? You know I'm terrible with numbers, but I'm 26 now, so it's been a long time. Before Japanese, I studied Italian, and then when I got to college, I started to meet all the international students. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna learn all 3 major Asian languages. And you're probably like, there's more than 3, but I'm gonna say Mandarin, okay? Mandarin, Chinese, yeah, we good now? Mandarin and Cantonese are like 2 major Chinese languages. So when you say Chinese, that could be a lot of things, because it could also be different dialects like Fujonese or other things as well. Most people don't know if there's more than one Chinese, or they just assume Mandarin because that's the Beijing, what they speak in Beijing. That's what more Chinese people speak. Now, I originally had planned on learning Japanese and then Korean and then Chinese, but I met a girl freshman year that I really, really liked, and I decided I was gonna learn her language. Don't ever do that. Don't learn language for a girl. Don't do that. I hate Chinese now, but more for other things. Like, I don't mind learning languages, but when I'm forced to learn them, then I don't like them as much. When I was forced to learn Chinese in order to graduate, it stopped being fun for me. But really, I should have known freshman year that it was going to stop being fun for me. It was gonna stop being fun for me very soon. Very soon. This girl is the one that I told you about before with the round, and she did the round. So you're gonna hear a lot about her in this episode. I'm not gonna name names, obviously, because that would be mean. Though by the end of it, one of these stories, you'll kind of get a grip. So let me just tell you. So this is a girl. I started to learn Chinese for her, basically, just for her. And we actually got into an argument freshman year this one time. And one of my friends, he had a bunch of caution tape. I don't know why. I don't know why he had caution tape, but he was like, "Here, you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got an idea." And me, smokestack shirt, partner, and somebody else, Valley of Ageria. As you know, I met Valley of Ageria because of this girl, because she was roommates with her friends. And Valley of Ageria distracted her while I went outside with smokestack shirt and partner, and I think a fighting penguin was there too. And we wrote in the field behind our dorm in Chinese with the caution tape in the field so she could read it from the 3rd story lobby window, "We are good friends." And now, you might think, oh, that's really cute. And then when Valley of Ageria, when we gave Valley of Ageria the signal, she brought this girl to the window so she could read it from the window. And this is gonna tell you right here, first of all, how stupid I am, and how much I should know that gestures like this don't work for some people. Like, yeah. Her first reaction upon seeing this in her native language written out in caution tape from the 3rd story window in the field was, "Tell him to clean that up." There's a picture that someone drew that I used to have up on my wall in college. I can't find the original picture. I know I have it somewhere, but I can't find it. So I just downloaded a picture of it that I took off Facebook, which will be like, no, I downloaded a picture that I found on Facebook of it, but I don't have a full one. I'm pretty sure I took a picture of the full one. I just can't find it for some stupid reason. But it'll be like, and it'll be there. And we had this running joke. Alright, so way back in the day, there was an episode of Johnny Bravo that has stuck with me to this day, because when we were in Japan, it was playing, and Fuzzy, my friend Fuzzy, he had to leave the dinner table of our host family because he couldn't stop laughing. But there's one episode of Johnny Bravo where some guy in town is like insulting little rat doggies, as he calls them, like chihuahuas and stuff. And he goes, "I like punting little rat doggies," and he goes, and he just shoots this fucking dog like into the stratosphere, and it's gone. And we had this running joke that there was actually a war going on between me and this one mean Chinese girl. And it was me and all the good Asians versus her, because I'm Mama Hawk, I oversee the battlefield from like the sky. And it was me and my army of good Asians versus this mean Chinese girl and her army of evil Asians. And her weapon of choice was to punt puppies at people. You go, and so my friend drew this stick figure drawing of me as a bird flying overhead and a bunch of really tall, happy Asians. And then this one evil girl kicking chihuahuas that were on fire at us and shooting them like mortars. And this one time, because Valley Vajiria lived with her, this girl's friend, she heard out the window this noise, and actually it's more of a she heard this from outside. She was like, holy shit, she really is punting puppies at this building. And it kind of stuck with us for a while. I really wish I could find, I'm gonna find that picture one day and I'll show it to you guys. I swear it exists. One of these days, I'm gonna find it and it's gonna be awesome. Because the version I got now is really, really tiny. I don't think you'll be able to make out any of the details. Also, this girl in particular, it's not like I didn't do anything for her. Like during the semester, like winter break, she went back home to China and something went wrong with her visa and she was trapped there. And I spent most of my time, like the first 2 weeks of class, second semester, trying to get her home and like talking to her advisors and whatever for her, because for some reason she wouldn't message them, she would just message me. So I ended up being the middleman. Like I didn't get much sleep because I would be up all night like trying to figure out what was wrong and how I could help. And then I would go during the day, like during all my free time, I would talk to my professors. So I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. I missed a lot of the first 2 weeks of class that second semester. And because I wasn't getting a lot of sleep and I wasn't really paying attention in class, I would just sleep through classes, which is nothing new. I sleep through class anyway, like that's just a thing. But I was asleep in my computer science class so often that if I woke up during class, the professor would actually cheer. Like he would start clapping and then the whole class would start clapping. He'd be like, good job, you're awake for one class. And I'd be like, yeah. And then I'd probably just go back to sleep because, yeah, don't let people walk all over you like I do. Don't do that. Don't do that. Actually, speaking of Chinese and that particular guy, the computer science teacher that I had met was actually the person that I met at open house when I was going. I assumed I was going to be doing computer science as my major. As you guys know, that's not what ended up happening. But you'll hear about you'll hear a little more about that later. But this guy is the person I met, and he was like, "Yeah, we got a program and what have you," and we talked. And like he was someone I knew when I came to campus. And it's actually kind of funny to me that he happened to, like when we sat and talked, like I would go to his office hours because I obviously wasn't doing great in class because I was never awake for it. And I didn't understand jack shit. I fucking hate Java and I don't understand anything about Java. To this day, I'm just like, no. But I would go to his office hours and we would start talking about learning Chinese because he happened to marry a Chinese woman and now his Mandarin is spot on. And I just think it's funny that he married a Chinese lady, learned Chinese. I was learning Chinese for a girl, but it ended up terrible. And it's just like two different sides of the spectrum occurring at the same time. No, but I learned a lot from this girl in particular, especially about like how food is viewed in Asia and stuff. If you guys don't know this, in a lot of parts of Asia, cheese especially, it seems a very unhealthy thing. And this girl in particular, I used to run homestay programs. I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but I used to be the one who would set up homestays for like Thanksgiving, and I would take the kids out trick-or-treating on Halloween. And the Thanksgiving homestay programs, when they started, I had her come over and a couple other international students came over to my house for Thanksgiving to eat. And I remember, like, we're a huge Italian family, so like we had antipasto, and it was like 12 different courses during Easter dinner. We had the antipasto, and there's always cheese in the antipasto. And this girl, I knew that she really didn't like cheese, and she started eating the cheese, and I'm like, I stopped, and I turned to her, and I go, you know that's cheese, right? And she looks at me, her eyes get real wide, and she doesn't say anything. She just like slowly stops chewing. And she just goes, blah, and she spits it all out over the table. And I was like, that was not the reaction I was expecting. Normally people use a napkin and they blah, but you could blah all over the table. Whatever. She also taught me during school that stupid people can't be helped. So me and Valley of Ageria, we used to take international students to the pool that didn't know how to swim, and we would help them learn how to swim. And because we had a pool on campus, so I mean, why not? And this one time we brought her. She didn't really know how to swim, and her two friends that were Valley of Ageria's roommates. One of them is also an awful person, and one of them is like the sweetest, kindest person you'll ever meet. So we were helping her learn to swim, and then the one girl that I have trouble with, obviously, I don't know if you want to call it trouble, but whatever. She also didn't know how to swim, but she refused to let us help her. And this one time I was like, give me your hand. And she was like, no! And she kept walking. And the way our pool works is it's set up in lanes, but it's like as you go further down, like as you go further along in the lane, the floor gets lower. And so I'm like, give me your hand, you're going too deep. Give me your hand, come here. And she was like, no, no, no. And she kept walking backwards. And I was like, if you keep walking backwards, the water gets deeper. And she was like, no, I will not take your, and she just went down. She goes, I will not take your, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, uh-huh, yeah, okay. And I had to paddle over and grab her and pull her back into the water that she could stand in. But like, I understand now that you can't help stupid people. And I should have taken that as like the ultimate sign, like, stop helping. This is not gonna work. This is not gonna work at all. I should have taken that as a sign. I also probably should have let her drown, but I mean, that would be wrong, so no. Now, this girl and I did everything for this girl freshman year because I'm a lovesick puppy and I'm really, really stupid and I don't listen to people when it comes to relationships. I just don't listen to other people. I gotta learn on my own. I gotta get stabbed in the heart a million times, you know, that sort of thing. I did not know that this girl had a boyfriend for the longest time. And then she told me and I was like, what? And I just, I felt so bad. They were like already a married couple, but not actually married. Like they shared bank account and credit card info and what have you. And I was like, no, that's too much. No. And by then I had already kind of got a grasp on this person is not a very good person. You should probably stay away from her. Like you should probably stay away. Now, I met this guy for the first time. Okay. He's actually a really nice guy. I met him for the first time because he came to visit her at school, and he brought her a sushi platter. I don't want to be too stereotypical, but I'm 90% certain he works in a restaurant. But he also does computer repair on the side. And he brought her a sushi platter that he made himself. Like he hand rolled all the nori and he fitted everything in there. And for some reason, he had been cutting it with a box cutter. And apparently during the process of that, he cut a hole in his hand. Like it wasn't like a little line. No, he cut a hole in his hand. And he had a whole bunch of gauze pads like taped over it. And he was bleeding through them. Like it was a pretty big hole. He should probably have gotten that checked out. And when I met him, like he was bleeding through the gauze pads, and I'm pretty well prepared for things. Like my stuff might be old, the medicine cabinet and what have you, but we got stuff at least. So I was like, do you need a Band-Aid, man? Do you want something? Like I have disinfectant and what have you. Like, do you need something? And he goes, no, and the girl, she's holding this sushi platter. She puts it down. And as I ask him, and he's about to be like, yeah, sure, I could definitely use a little help, considering I'm bleeding all over the place. She puts down the sushi platter, and she turns, and she sees that he's about to enter, like, yes, I could use some help. And instead of being like, yeah, that would be great if you could help him, she goes, no, he is fine! And he just kind of like shrunk away, and okay. And like at that point, it was very obvious to see that he should also not be with that girl. Like, just leave her. Run away. Run away. She is no good for anybody. No, run away. If you're bleeding and your significant other is like, no, he's fine, you should know that's not a good relationship for you. And from that point on, I really wanted to sit him down and talk to him and be like, bro, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. But I couldn't do that anymore because he knew that I had liked her previously. So he assumed that I was going to break them up so I could have her. But I don't want her. I don't want her anymore. I don't want you. I want you to be free because you're obviously a nice person. So just fucking go, man. Go! It's not like... I'm not going to say she was useless, but she wasn't very helpful, I tell you. So, like, I did really stupid things for her. I walked all the way to the supermarket and carried back 2 24-packs of water for her to our dorm, which is at least a mile. And, you know, I have no upper body strength. So I can only imagine what this poor guy has had to do for her up until then. And I'm pretty sure they're still together now because he doesn't seem like the type to be able to run away. Maybe she broke his legs, I don't know. And she's not very like, you help me, I help you. Like freshman year, all I wanted to do was learn how to do laundry. And like my mom refused to teach me. And I was like, all right, if I help you out with this stuff, if I help correct your papers and crap, will you teach me how to do laundry? And one day I had like a huge sack of laundry and I was like, can you teach me how to do laundry? And she turns to me and she goes, why would I do that? I wouldn't get anything out of it. And I was just like, bitch! Now, on the bright side, I did meet Valley Vigeria because of her, who's, you know, one of my bestest friends, like of all. Her and Crazy Bacon are like at the top of my list for bestest friends ever. That's not to say I don't love, you know, Grim and Knox and Jack Bauer. They're bestest friends because I like Crazy Bacon keeps moving. He just always stays there, and like I can tell Valley Vigeria pretty much anything. He should be there for me, and also her parents have like sort of adopted me, but not really, which is awesome because you know my parents ain't the best parents, but yeah, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But like into our college stay, I think in our junior year or so, this girl, she was still sort of friends with Valley Vigeria, not me anymore. Sophomore year, I cut that shit off. No, you bitch, you're evil. So I didn't really hang out with them anymore. But I remember this one time, like, pretty much if you saw me on campus, I was probably surrounded by Asians because that's just how I was. Like, I had like a cadre of Asians like at all times. I was that guy. That was me. Or other international students, I was just always with them. So usually they would either meet me first or that girl first, and like that would decide what clique they were gonna hang out in. And I remember Valley Vigeria was telling me this one time the girl pulled her aside and was like, well, why does Scott tell people bad stories about? And Valley Vigeria, you know, being the very blunt woman that she is, she goes, oh honey, he doesn't tell people bad stories about you. He tells people stories about you, and they draw their own conclusions. And I was like, ooh, sick bird!
Hey there, guys and gals. I hope you're enjoying Season 2 of On Fairy Tales, The School Years. As always, you can click the link on the left to see the previous episode, or you can click the link on the right to see the playlist, where you can see all the episodes so far. More so than just with cheese, I had a lot of food-related adventures in college.